Why do so many seniors suffer from leg cramps that disrupt their lives? These aren't just minor inconveniences. They're sudden, involuntary muscle contractions that seize the calves, thighs, or feet, sometimes lasting several minutes and interfering with both sleep and daily activities. You walk, run, climb stairs, and balance without conscious effort, until one day you can't. The gradual weakening of leg strength that many experience with age isn't inevitable. It's often the result of nutritional gaps that silently erode the foundation of mobility. When we think about staying independent as we age, we often focus on external solutions, walkers, grab bars, medical alert systems. But the most powerful tool might be internal, ensuring your body has the key nutrients it needs to maintain strong legs. The difference between someone who maintains their mobility into old age and someone who loses it often comes down to a handful of essential vitamins and minerals. A handful of specific nutrients have disproportionate effects on maintaining leg strength, and most people are deficient in them, especially the seniors. Curious to know what these nutrients are? Before we begin, kindly show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Do you suffer from leg cramps? What do you do to alleviate this? Leave your comment below. Let's look at the 8 most critical vitamins and minerals to strengthen your legs and prevent leg cramps, how they work, and why they matter so much, especially as we age. 1. Calcium. Everyone knows calcium builds strong bones, but there's much more to the story when it comes to leg strength. Yes, calcium is critical for maintaining bone density, which becomes increasingly important as we age. But calcium's role in muscle function is just as vital and often overlooked. Every muscle contraction in your body relies on calcium. When you decide to take a step, calcium rushes into your muscle cells, triggering the contraction that moves your leg. If calcium levels are insufficient or calcium transport is compromised, often due to low vitamin D, these contractions become weaker and less coordinated. This explains why calcium deficiency often manifests as leg cramps, especially at night. The muscles attempt to contract but can't properly complete the process due to insufficient calcium, resulting in painful spasms. These aren't just annoying, they're a warning sign. Getting enough calcium is particularly challenging for older adults. Absorption efficiency decreases with age, and many common medications can interfere with calcium metabolism. While dairy products remain excellent sources, don't overlook non-dairy options like leafy greens, almonds, sardines, and fortified plant milks. 2. Vitamin D. Of all the nutrients that affect leg strength, vitamin D is probably the most important and most frequently deficient. Most people think vitamin D is just for bones. That's partly right, but it dramatically undersells its importance. Vitamin D is more like a hormone than a typical vitamin, with receptors throughout your body, including in your muscle tissue. Without enough of it, your muscles literally cannot function properly. As we age, 2 problems converge. Our skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight, and we tend to spend less time outdoors. The result is a silent epidemic of deficiency that directly compromises muscle function. Studies consistently show that low vitamin D levels correlate with muscle weakness, particularly in the legs. This isn't just about feeling tired. It's about the fast-twitch muscle fibers that help you catch yourself when you stumble. These fibers are especially dependent on vitamin D, and when levels drop, these critical reflexes slow down. That's why vitamin D deficiency so dramatically increases fall risk in older adults. What makes vitamin D particularly fascinating is its cellular functioning, where it enhances muscle protein synthesis and optimizes calcium flow in muscle cells, essential for preventing irregular contractions and weakness. Adequate levels also reduce muscle inflammation, often mistaken for normal aging pains and stiffness. The optimal strategy combines moderate sun exposure, 15-30 minutes several times weekly, vitamin D-rich foods, fatty fish, egg yolks, fortified dairy, and typically supplementation of 800-1,000 IU daily for seniors, though some may require higher doses under medical supervision. 3. Magnesium. If calcium is the mineral that helps muscles contract, magnesium is the one that helps them relax. This balance between contraction and relaxation is fundamental to smooth, coordinated movement. Yet magnesium deficiency is remarkably common. When magnesium levels are low, muscles tend to remain partially contracted, creating tension and reducing efficiency. This often manifests as leg cramps, especially nocturnal ones that wake people from sleep. It can also contribute to restless leg syndrome, a condition where people feel an irresistible urge to move their legs, particularly at night. Beyond its direct role in muscle function, magnesium works synergistically with calcium and vitamin D to maintain bone density. It helps regulate calcium transport and prevents calcium from depositing in soft tissues where it doesn't belong. Studies consistently show that higher magnesium intake correlates with greater bone mineral density and lower fracture risk. What makes magnesium particularly relevant for leg strength is how easily it's depleted. Stress, sweating, certain medications, especially diuretics and some antibiotics, and even moderate alcohol consumption can all reduce magnesium levels. The good news is that magnesium is abundant in many whole foods: leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, and dark chocolate. Just a handful of pumpkin seeds or a serving of spinach provides a substantial amount. For those who need supplements, magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate tends to be better absorbed and less likely to cause digestive upset than cheaper forms like magnesium oxide. 4. Vitamin B12. While much of the conversation around leg strength revolves around muscles and bones, the nervous system is equally important and often neglected. Vitamin B12 is crucial in this aspect, functioning as the insulation around the wiring in your body, helping maintain the myelin sheath that protects nerve fibers and ensures signals travel efficiently from brain to legs. When B12 levels drop, this insulation deteriorates and the electrical impulses controlling movement become impaired. One of the earliest signs of B12 deficiency is a peculiar sensation of heavy, tired legs, often accompanied by tingling or numbness. Many people attribute these symptoms to age or poor circulation when they're actually experiencing nerve signaling problems due to low B12. The challenge is that deficiency becomes increasingly common with aging, as after 50, many produce less stomach acid and intrinsic factor, making it harder to extract B12 from food. The impact on mobility can be profound and insidious. Unlike a muscle strain that announces itself with immediate pain, B12-related nerve damage develops gradually, often over years. The progressive weakening of leg function may be so subtle that people adapt without realizing something is wrong until they reach a critical threshold where balance and strength noticeably deteriorate. B12 is primarily found in animal products: meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. For vegetarians and those with absorption issues, fortified foods or supplements become essential. The methylcobalamin form is often better utilized than cyanocobalamin, especially in older adults. Common medications like antacids, metformin, and proton pump inhibitors can also compromise absorption. 5. Potassium. This mineral works alongside sodium to create the electrical gradient that allows nerves to fire and muscles to contract. When potassium levels fall too low, this electrical system becomes unstable. The result is muscle weakness, trembling, and cramps, especially in the legs, which contain some of your largest muscle groups and thus have high potassium requirements. Beyond direct muscle effects, potassium plays a surprising role in bone health. It helps neutralize acids in the body that would otherwise leach calcium from bones. The challenge with potassium is that modern diets often skew heavily towards sodium-rich processed foods while containing relatively little potassium. While bananas are famous for their potassium content, many other foods contain even more: sweet potatoes, spinach, avocados, white beans, and even plain baked potatoes. A diet rich in whole, unprocessed foods generally provides ample potassium without the need for supplements, which should only be used under medical supervision due to the risk of adverse effects at high doses. 6. Vitamin K. Vitamin K might be the most underappreciated nutrient for leg strength and mobility. Its primary role is directing calcium to where it belongs, in your bones, and away from where it doesn't, like your arteries and soft tissues. Think of vitamin K as traffic control for calcium. Without adequate vitamin K, calcium can drift away from bones, where it provides structural strength, and deposit in blood vessels, where it reduces circulation and flexibility. This dual effect Weaker bones and stiffer blood vessels creates a perfect storm for leg problems as we age. Research increasingly shows that vitamin K is crucial for activating osteocalcin, a protein that binds calcium to the bone matrix. Higher vitamin K intake consistently correlates with greater bone density and lower fracture risk, particularly in older adults. Beyond bone health, emerging research suggests vitamin K plays a role in reducing inflammation in joints. This may help explain why some studies have found associations between higher vitamin K intake and reduced osteoarthritis symptoms, particularly in the knees. Vitamin K comes in two main forms: K1, found primarily in leafy greens, and K2, found in fermented foods and some animal products. While both are important, K2 appears to be particularly effective at directing calcium into bones rather than arteries. Excellent sources include leafy greens like kale and spinach for K1 and natto, aged cheese, and egg yolks for K2. If you take blood-thinning medications like warfarin, consult your doctor before increasing vitamin K intake, as this can interfere with these medications. 7. Vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 pyridoxine is essential for several processes that directly impact muscle function and nerve health. One of B6's primary roles is helping the body process protein efficiently. Since muscle tissue is largely composed of protein, this makes B6 crucial for maintaining and repairing muscle fibers, particularly after activity or injury. Without adequate B6, even with sufficient protein intake, your body can't optimally use that protein to support muscle strength. B6 is also vital for neurotransmitter production and nerve function. It helps create the chemical messengers that allow your brain to communicate with your leg muscles. When B6 levels are low, these signals can become sluggish or inconsistent, contributing to coordination problems and weakness. Low B6 can contribute to anemia, which often manifests as premature fatigue and weakness during physical activity. Good sources of B6 include poultry, fish, potatoes, chickpeas, and bananas. The recommended daily intake increases slightly with age, with older adults needing about 1.5–1.7 milligrams daily. 8. Vitamin E. Vitamin E protects muscle tissue from oxidative damage. As we age, this protection becomes increasingly important. Physical activity naturally produces free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage cells. Vitamin E acts as an antioxidant, neutralizing these free radicals before they can harm muscle fibers. This protection is also important for the mitochondria, the energy-producing structures within muscle cells that power movement. Studies have shown that higher vitamin E levels correlate with better physical performance in older adults. One reason may be that vitamin E helps preserve muscle mass during periods of inflammation or stress, which become more common with age. Good sources of vitamin E include nuts, particularly almonds, seeds, avocado, trout, and leafy greens. If you found this video useful, type yes in the comment. It really helps us create more great content for you. Feel free to share your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future topics. And before you go check out these two videos we selected specially for you.